Chinese diesel eater. So you've searched this video because you want to see how to fit one. There's better videos than this. I'm not an expert, but I have had mine in 2 years. It does work, and I'm just going to do a bit of a review on it. And yeah, this is the Carp Anglers edition, as I'm down at the lake right now actually. Well, here I am down at the lake, and it's quite a nice day today actually. It's quite warm, so I probably won't be using the diesel eater. If we get some rain and end up getting wet through with the fish and what have you, then I'll be using it, because it's fantastic for drying your kit off, if nothing else, even if you're not cold. Now, when I installed my diesel eater, I didn't know what I was doing, and I highly recommend that you watch like a tutorial video. There's loads of them on YouTube. Have a look at that. Highly recommend that. Don't do what I did and do it on the cheap. The first thing I should have done is I should have bought the turret that it sits on. It marks out your holes for your cutting in your floor and everything else. They're like 20 quid. Everybody I spoke to recommended to buy one. I didn't. It would have made life a lot easier. So I'll show you where I've installed it. When I installed mine, I had a couple of considerations to make. Firstly, I was a bit worried about sawing a big hole through the bottom of the van, and there just happened to be a hole there already. So that was one of the main reasons it went there. And you can see there's my exhaust pipe going out of the said hole. Now, the other consideration was I didn't want it stuck out in the middle of the van everywhere. I use this van not just for fishing. It's not a camper. It gets used for all sorts of other things. So I wanted to leave the diesel eater in situ, tucked away a bit. Now, I would have liked to got it actually fully in the cab, but because of where the hole is and there's all this nice like plastic stuff around, I didn't want to set fire to that, so it went there. Now, one of the disadvantages of putting it there was the bulkhead. Refueling is an absolute nightmare. I have solved that now. What I've managed to get is a little 12-volt pump that I just drop into a barrel, and I pump my diesel out of the barrel into my diesel heater. I have only ever run mine on absolute pure red, all white. People run them on oil, engine oil, all sorts. I've only ever run mine on clean diesel. Red if I can get it, or white if not. To be honest, for how much it uses, they're super efficient. They really are really good on fuel efficiency. I reckon mine's the 5 kilowatt version, and I reckon mine uses 3 litres 10 hours, and I'm not joking, it gets like 30 degrees in there. I'm opening all the doors, you know, -6 one night this winter, -6. I'm outside work, I've got it on, and it's 29 degrees in the back of the van. I'm literally in my boxers on top of my bed, sweat pouring out my head, thinking I'm gonna have to turn this off in a minute. And to be honest, that's generally what I do. I use it to warm the van up whilst I'm sat up watching telly, what have you, and then once we're up to temperature, I get into my bed and then it goes off. Now, when I got mine, I was a little bit with the fob I got. I was expecting one of the screen type ones that you see, and it came with this fob. Now, as it happens, it is actually quite good. For a start, you ain't got to get out of bed to turn it on and off. You can, wherever you are, I can turn it on and off from here. Now, the screen is rather battered now, and it's starting to go at the bottom. All them white lines are starting to appear, black lines going up it. I don't know how long it's going to last, to be honest. 2 years old. Can I get another one? Maybe. Now, it works off that sensor there. Now, that was originally that like dome thing. Forget the pop-ups. That little dome thing there. That originally was stuck to the front, but that quickly got kicked off because I didn't have this little table thing on top, which I've fitted after. Which actually, it's an old bivvy table. It works lovely. Now, the exhaust. The key thing to remember is, don't do what I did, buy the turret. Makes life so much easier and much less of a fire risk. And I did have a fire. Now, what happened was, a bottle cap, Coca-Cola bottle cap, I'd left lying about, and somehow rolled under there, dropped into that recess down there, sat in the exhaust. It didn't actually catch fire, it just smouldered. And I was alerted to it because, and this is what I will say to everybody, is get yourself one of those, not the ring light, the smoke alarm. I've also got a carbon monoxide alarm. Small space, something that gives off emissions. You want both of those things in there. Trust me, it will save your life. And it happens every year. We hear the story, people, stoves in the bivvies, whatever, bringing the bloody barbecue in the bivvy door and all the rest of it, dead, carbon monoxide poisoning. Those two there cost me 30 quid. In fact, I think it was 27 quid. It's a twin pack from B&Q. And I've had it go off. Like I said, smouldering bottle cap. How the hell it got under there, who knows. But very, very important, it's a little safety tip there. Please, please, if you're going to fit one of these, get a carbon monoxide detector and a smoke detector. Now, coming out, if I get down on my hands and knees, my exhaust pipe, I'll have to lie down here, it's a good job it's dry. My exhaust pipe is there, look, clamped onto the van, and it goes up under the van there into the diesel heater. Now I left the baffle off mine, and it is quite noisy when you start it up, you'll hear it. In fact, I'll run it now. So here's my remote. I'll try and get it in focus. Click it once, that puts it into standby, and I'll click it again, hold it down. If you don't know if you pick that up on the mic, a little click, that means it's now starting. Now I'll leave the video rolling. I'll try and natter on a little bit. So it does take a couple of minutes to start up. Now there is a little bit of cool air coming out there now, out the vent. Power, by the way, is powered by leisure battery. Now I've got two, 130 amp hour each. They're running parallel, so that's giving me 260 amp hours of 12 volt, more than enough to run this diesel heater. The main thing about diesel heaters is all of the power that you use on a diesel heater, like 95% of it, is on startup. Once it's up and running, they actually use very little power. It's that initial startup. Now what I tend to do, if I'm a little bit worried about my battery life, and I've got a little battery meter there, and as you'll see, it's already dropped down to 12.7. I was sat at 13.1. What I tend to do is, at the back here, I've got a little 6 amp bog standard battery charger. That's obviously going to my batteries, and I've got a power inverter, and that's plugged into my 12 volt in the van. And I'll just start the engine, and that will help maintain the battery whilst it's doing its startup program. Right, that ticking noise you can hear there, that is now the diesel pump actuating. So now, as you'll hear, now to be fair, they are quite noisy on startup. Once they're up and running, they're not too bad at all. As you'll see, coming out my exhaust, wherever it is, where is it? No smoke. Where is that exhaust? I've lost it. It's there. Absolutely nothing coming out of it, look. Now what it'll do, it actually runs up quite fast on the startup program. That's to get the chamber that's in there nice and hot. I'll click on my sensor. I've only got, see the bottom, at the bottom there, you've got those 3 little green lights. Pick that up. That's the core temp. They need to go all the way up to red before it'll settle down. Now on the fob, as you hear, it's getting faster and faster now, you can adjust the temperature. Just turn itself off. Yeah, that's yellow now, look, so it's getting warmer. I can change the temperature up and down accordingly. It's set at 9 degrees at the moment, and it will run as fast as possible till it gets 9 degrees. Now I only ever run mine at the minimum. it'll start up, it's going to fire up at like ridiculous speed, quite noisy, but as soon as it hits its optimum temperature, it'll start to run itself down to its slowest speed setting, which is 1.4 kilowatts on the pump, which is actually 0.3 litres an hour. That's what it puts through, 0.3 litres of diesel per hour. So 10-hour run, roughly 3 litres of diesel. The tank itself, which is self-contained in the unit, that holds about 6 litres. So there's potentially 20 hours worth of running there. As you'll hear, it's quite noisy. Sounds like an aeroplane about to take off. It's lovely and hot now though. Let's have a look what the cores are doing. Well, we've got one red, we need 2 more, and then it will shut itself down to its slowest running speed. So at the minute, that's as fast as it will go, and that is really hot air that's coming out there now. I should have a digital thermometer. I fitted this on it come with it. I didn't bother with all the pipe work, just put a little short piece on, just so I can angle it under my bed, hit my feet. Or quite often, because it gets that warm, I angle it outside. A lot of the time I will just sit here like this, door wide open, diesel heater just blowing on my back. Absolutely lovely. Fantastic actually for drying kit. I mean, if you anyone that's carp fishes will tell you, everything that your van or your car just gets soaked all the time. You've got your mat, your net, wet clothes, wet muddy boots. I just hang it up in here, bang this on for an hour, dry. Especially as well with me not being no vapor lining, I do get quite a lot of condensation in the van. When this diesel heater's on, can you hear it now? Shutting down. When the diesel heater's on, it's just like a big tumble dryer. It's absolutely perfect. And to be honest, that's what I use it mainly for. I don't really use it to keep myself warm. I use it to dry myself off. Especially if you've been out in the night, had a fish, pissing down with rain. As you hear now, it's running down, slowing down. And I just want you to hear it running. It's what its normal running speed's at. Yeah, how much noise it creates. I don't often leave it on all night. It's got to be really cold for me to have it on all night. It's got to be like proper sub-zero, -7, -8, for me to have it on all night. And them nights don't happen very often. It's almost down now. It's at full temperature, and that is really, really hot now. As you can hear, the fan's slowing down, the fuel pump's slowing down, and that is really the only annoying thing about it. That tick. You can sort of suppress the noise. People put them, obviously, other end of the van, things like that, insulate it, all the rest of it. To be honest, it doesn't bother me too much. And there we go. It's in. It's on. And that's at its slowest running speed. And that's belting some serious heat out now. Wiring's dead easy. It's just literally two wires, black and a red, one to the positive, one to the negative, and all you need is a good 12 volts. Any battery will do it. I've run mine on a car battery before I got my leisure batteries. I originally bought a leisure battery. That's the only thing I will say. If you get a leisure battery, get a voltmeter on it. They're cheap enough. Don't run them below, well, my manufacturer reckons 11.6. I won't go below 12. As you'll see now, it's reading 12.8, and it'll sit at that 12.8 now for literally hours and hours. It's using absolutely nothing now. I wouldn't know how many watts it's pulling, but not a lot. One Chinese diesel heater. It's been in, like I say, 2 years now, 2 winters. Don't use it in the summer. I have only ever run it on clean fuel. People recommend, you run it on engine oil, run it on this, run it on that. I wouldn't recommend that, to be honest. For how efficient it is, even if you're buying from white diesel from the pump, well, we're at 150 a litre now, 3 litres in 10 hours. You know, is it worth it? £3 a night, keep you warm. That's if you have it on all night. You know, probably in a week, seven nights out fishing, I probably won't use a full tank in 7 nights, and that'll be having it on most evenings. You know, so yeah, mine's running on red at the minute. If I can get red from anywhere, I'll get it. If it's fine to use for heating. Normally boat yards, places like that, the best places to get red from, because obviously a lot of people use them in the boats for diesel heaters. There's no VAT on that, obviously, and I think it's about £1 a litre, £1.10 a litre, something like that from most boat yards. Does make it slightly cheaper. They run fine on red and on white. I know, like I say, people put engine oil, cooking oil in them and all sorts, but look, there's not a single, nothing coming out of that exhaust. It's clean, it's quiet, and it's hot. Well, I hope that sums everything up. If you've got any questions, just drop me a message in the comments and see if that helps you out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be back for some more carpy goodness.